Thank
This
you.
is a list of my names of ladies. Would you like me to go downstairs and get copies for everybody? So. You're great. Do it right here, just machine.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Larry Black made a motion to approve the minutes.
Uh-huh. And Linda seconded it. Was it? You'll second them. So we have a first and second. All those in favor?
Right.
All right, we got minutes.
Okay, before I forget.
Yeah.
Can you please sign last month's and this month's
Mhm.
minutes? That would be fabulous.
Okay, so there's no public.
Actually, can I make a comment on the minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Miriam's not my employee. Just an associate. I don't know if that matters.
Where paragraph are you in?
B, 4B.
Sorry, I did it upside down.
We can make that adjustment to associate.
So you want to, before I sign these, you want me to go ahead and sign it?
You can sign it because the signature's on the page I need to correct.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Okay, no public hearings. So down to committee business. Do we have any follow-up on the Voss building discussion? Yeah, we know that the current owner was ill or has been sick. And I don't know if anybody's had any further discussion. I haven't had a chance to dig into it. Steve, have you had a chance to dig into it? All right, so there's no point belaboring that, in my opinion, we're just
Nothing new.
nothing new.
Okay.
Nothing new on that guy. May is preservation month. And we had a lot of discussion last month about the banner, and a bunch of work was done on that banner. And we have,
This is the,
this is what,
this is the show and tell, this is the banner. With David's input and what it would look like.
so it'd show up a lot better based on the colors, wouldn't it? I wouldn't get lost.
And here are two of the estimates. Steve got the one from Canyon Signs, I got the one from Designer Signs.
And they're virtually the same.
They're virtually the same.
I think they're buck difference, something.
22 cents.
22 cents.
Different.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
incredible.
so I believe because Spence lives up here and he's done a lot of signs for a lot of people in this area, Canyon Signs would be supporting local. And this outfit is down in Springs that I think some of our folks who do banners up here in town do use. What's their name? I can't see.
Designer Signs.
Designer Signs, okay, thank you.
They did give me a 2 to 4 day business day turnaround. And you said, Spence said,
So about the same as well.
And he's not gonna charge you to bring it to Woodland Park.
And he'll drop it off because he's on his way home.
Oh,
Is that the idea?
Absolutely.
Okay, And-
Is that amount in the budget? Is that correlate with what?
I can't, I don't, what's the dollar figure?
$185.
Yeah, that's within range.
and then
Yeah, it
this is Miriam's invoice for the graphic design. And this is the final. She's got the well, I don't know how it's gonna get to him, but Steve could get it to him. But she's gonna contact Canyon Signs or whoever
well,
to
it's
see what the format needs to be.
probably a JPEG, I imagine,
Graphics depending on the.
or TIFF, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it works for this system the best for.
All the ones he's had me do for him, it's been a PDF.
PDF or scalable.
What's the dollar figure for Miriam?
Miriam is 166
So
and.
Okay.
And then the other question is, who notifies whoever's not getting the sign? Who makes that call?
I don't know that
We
you have to.
Okay,
Um,
because I'm not good at giving things.
so Miriam, Miriam is 166,
$185.
166.
and what's
185 is the lowest bid.
So,
$1,000 worth of signs would be a disappointment.
so,
And the size of the sign is what?
12 feet by 3 feet.
pretty much, which is 36 square feet and one sign, or a combination of.
and that would actually give us flexibility. So if we wanted to continue doing it at Walgreens like we have done in the past and moved it around, or if we wanted to get on the kiosk thing coming into town down by Walmart.
Which we're currently not eligible for.
Right, but I'm just saying that's the size that would go on that as well. But things change around here.
How come we can't put it on that sign?
It doesn't meet the criteria.
Because we're not a,
I forget the rules. It was in last month's packet, Frank.
Yeah.
I had all the
Yeah, I
attachments.
didn't look at it because I said, well, that's absurd. We're a committee with the city. So I was, and that's a city sign. Who made that work? That's like a stupid. rule.
they come and they go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they just do. So we had in the budget 250 for the banner, is that right? That's what I'm looking at.
I didn't bring that with me,
Okay.
so I'm gonna trust you.
So we had some discussion about being able to help to pay Marion. So, and the cost of the banner, so that's $351.
But
So-
the rest was gonna come out of the saving places.
Because we had some leftover money from that, right?
Mhm.
And we had talked about that, but I don't think we formally had made a motion or codified it, if you will, in our minutes, so I'm just bringing it up so that we can get it recorded properly. Does that ring everybody, does that sound right to everybody? Because I'm going off my memory.
Mhm.
Okay, so.
Yeah,
that-
so banner mock-ups and 2 estimates were provided in the April, I was gonna put it in the meeting packet, but I didn't get it for that, so it's provided at the meeting. So you guys can vote on it in April. That'd be today.
That's right, and then we have plenty of time to get the banner made up and check this off our list for the last 3 years, because we're considering a banner. That sound good? So I guess, is everybody okay with going with Spence because he's the local in this?
Well, you always go with the low bid.
Yes. I move that we approve Spence to produce the sign.
That's no bid.
Okay, and you want to include reimbursing Miriam as well, doing this for us?
Yes.
So is
I
that-
move that, yeah, to continue that sentence and reimburse Miriam Labold according to her invoice.
Any more comments, discussion?
Do we need to include where that money is coming out of the budget? for the
Yeah.
township? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but I have one other question. Who is gonna contact Kenya?
You know what,
Miriam?
since, well, we can,
I'm going down,
let's have
Tomorrow.
Steve do it. He knows Spence real well. Spence has done a lot of signs for him. If he's going down, I would suggest we let Steve do it for us.
You should probably just have Marion send them the file and that'll be it.
Staff would like a copy of the file also.
Mhm.
You want to keep this?
So I think the big thing is contacting Marion first and having her send the file to the city, Karen, and to Canyon, and then that should all it would need to be to get that ball rolling,
Okay,
because that's what I did for my political side.
So we make sure-
Then my,
but she's sending it to Karen?
Yes. We want her to send it to Karen, so that
and the
it's,
Canyon sign.
so it's part of our,
Records.
yes, so we have it
Paid
in
for
there. And did you get a copy of the?
No, I've got none of this.
Bid, so you get a copy, I'll make a copy. Make a copy.
I need both
in
bids.
this?
I need all that. And
Anybody else want copies of these?
I'll keep the graphics too that you've got. Both of those would be lovely.
Or you want copies?
No.
You can have those.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to pay Miriam to go with Spence. And our understanding is that an email will be sent to Karen and to Spence from Miriam. Steve, you're gonna follow up with Spence.
and when I receive the finished product, who do I give it to?
Here,
I'll have
Karen?
Steve included in the email.
Yes,
Strange smile.
yes,
You should
and,
take the
and
original.
Spence will need to invoice the city.
And I told him it was through this committee, and that was why I asked you last month, if this was a 501c3, but that's correct.
We're tax exempt as a local government, and we can get him that paperwork.
Yeah.
I have invoices and stuff already, so I just need the bottom two pages.
Oh, you have both of those Canyon signs?
Yep. Frank took care of me.
Okay.
So you should write winner on one and loser on the other.
For all 22 cents.
Hey,
Life's
sure the federal government does even less than that.
Okay, so we have, so all those, if there's anything else, comments, or are we straight on what we're doing here?
Just a second on the motion, please.
What?
A second on
Someone's
the
got a
motion.
second, then you gotta vote.
I'll second.
Larry seconded.
Okay.
Dave made it, right?
Yes,
There was a lot of conversation that went over that bridge.
that part I caught.
Okay, are we good? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, 3-year project off our plate, almost. Okay, now, but I did, just to confirm, grommets will be on that
Yeah, it's
with
matter of
wind,
fact,
with cuts, with wind cuts.
matter of fact, Canyon calls all of that out.
Okay, I just wanted to make
It's on
sure
his,
we,
it's on his estimate
Now,
there.
yeah, that's okay. I just want to make sure that the wind cuts are on there, but you can see the hand.
Single side banner, printed, laminated, reinforced corners.
Grommets, is that word?
I think it's nylon, reinforced hems, toe and bottom, grommets are to be provided.
so maybe,
But you want the wind cuts? Does he do wind cuts?
Mhm.
Does he, do you know if he does actual wind cuts in the signs? I've never seen a sign.
Not unless you ask, it's been my experience.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a good size. I think it'd be a good idea if there's a couple in there.
gonna catch a lot of wind. But- So if we could ask him to do that. So Linda, you've got that on the notes for. Thank you. All right, so we've got the money in place to cover all that. We're good. Okay, poster. We have a list of, Larry provided some names, Steve has worked on some names, and this is a list so far that you pulled together. Right?
I left out Burns off because she's so obvious and all that, so I didn't have enough room unless I wanted to go to 8.5 by 14, and I do want to do that. Then I would have had to get him a special door in my room and move a bunch of. I didn't want to do it, so I left Al Burns' name off.
Al, what's the name?
Al Burns. Alberta. Alberta.
Why did you leave her off?
It didn't fit on the paper.
Oh.
He didn't want to ride on the back.
That's how I do it when I'm drawing a house. You can't afford it if it runs off.
Everybody knows about Al, and there's a lot of names here that some people might not know about, so that's. Like I say, everybody knows Al, so.
So it looks like you have pictures
Yes,
for,
so,
And
bunch of these.
Agnes, Aggie,
yeah,
I know her 2 sons. And they're trying to get me a photo of her at a desk when she was, doing some editing.
okay.
Lulu Warden, I was hoping Lori Glock would provide me with one of those.
The Haman Fire claimed every one of them,
Yeah.
including the family Bible. I have nothing.
I have 3 or 4 at Zelma, but they're fuzzy, but they're good enough.
Well, I've got a good one of them.
Yeah, okay. Bessie down there towards the bottom, I could get one. And Mrs. Stafford, I'm working on, I don't know where I'm gonna get one from her, Nora Stafford. She was our 3rd grade teacher.
A photo is in the gateway entrance.
Which one's Gateway?
Well, that actually.
Oh, okay.
There's a photo of good,
Yeah,
Portrait type.
right.
yeah,
okay.
should be a school teacher, multiple a lot of us should have them in our
Yeah, well, I
yearbooks or
looked at my
something.
yearbook, I didn't see any of her.
Really?
I,
This is Tommy Stafford you're talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah, Nora, well, Tom, she went by Tommy though.
Well, we called her Tommy.
Yeah.
I didn't call her Tommy.
No.
You is a
It was
Stafford.
Mrs. Stafford.
And
But-
then, also out of my school album, I got one of your mom, but I could use a better one,
Okay,
the same photo. With the
Okay.
nurse's hat on and stuff.
okay.
Yeah, you might, Gateway is, closed or closing, so,
Oh, really?
yeah. They don't have enough enrollment to fill that school, so they ended up closing it. Now, I don't know exactly when, but it's gonna be soon, so if you
Really?
really need to get pictures, you might just wanna talk to the school board, which is at the other end, the administrative offices for the schools at the other end of that, of building, so you can go in there and say, like that photo before you shut the doors.
You might just ask the principal.
I don't know if anybody's actually.
I don't know how many names you guys need for your poster, but maybe she won't.
They're not
Great.
closing till after this, to the.
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
part of the part of the process here is how many can we fit on?
Yeah,
With good pictures.
Yeah,
With these
so-
pictures, or just that it's a good picture and, you know, kind of a balance between that and the historical,
Mm-hmm.
merit, of that for just the, interesting poster.
okay.
So we gotta get get a balance on that and go through the format. So I have started something, I've had started with our associate Miriam as running the Photoshop. Of a concept start. Where, when to get something as a focal point to revolve around, we came up with the idea of using just the park, since that seems to keep coming up with, promotion. Of that all the time. Thank you. And, so on. So this is just a start of drawing attention, to this. From here, we need to edit or gather, names and pictures. From there, edit down to what can fit on. I think for starters, for example, I think the park picture is too big, even though is meant to be a focal point. We could probably use a couple of the committee type pictures, as with where we just grabbed the home demonstration club picture. Could use a couple of those kinds, which would cover a number of people. And from there, maybe
We-
squeeze in another six. Yeah.
Is there a historic picture of the park?
Um.
I'm just
something
asking, I
like
mean.
that.
Yeah, I got some.
Historic pictures of the park?
There's pictures before it was a park. I need to see those.
Yeah,
There's some-
well, when these ladies did it,
Mhm.
it should be with the old gazebo and. I don't
Well,
know
maybe that's
all
time to
year.
do the before and after type of thing,
Mhm.
just a little inset there that grabs attention to. And from there, say, I wonder who these people are.
Do you have a picture of where the lake was that you were describing in your presentation?
Never seen one.
So I see a plat all the time,
Yeah, that's all I ever see,
lake edition.
from there to there.
But but I've always wondered, when you talked about it, I thought that was the coolest thing ever, to know that that was there and they're responsible for purchasing and selling it. I got a plat, but I don't know what that does. It shows the lake, which is really cool, which was the water supply,
Mhm.
which, what do you say, thirties, that it went away, or 1940-ish?
Uh,
The water source, somebody shut
it
it.
was in, I think 36 when the state, when the Clark County Health said it's no longer deemed good for drinking water. 37.
So, Dave, are you thinking? Preliminary, we're thinking an older picture of the park, newer picture of the park.
I think that's just a great idea. I like it.
And then this is the ladies, the home demonstration group. And then,
Something else like that would balance out nice then with
and so,
another group.
right, so we're talking 12, maybe 12 ladies comfortably on something like this.
Yep.
By the time you get another part picture and type of thing.
So you guys gotta figure out which of Larry's in this list here, which ladies you would like to go with. And keep in mind that back then, this era that we're looking at, there were only 3 organizations in town. The Grange, the Progressive Dames, and the Woodland Project Club. So that's, every one of these ladies belonged to that, so that was a common link, they all belonged to the same things. So they, as far as anything outstanding, like Iva Kelly, Mrs. Kelly, and Clara Boz, they were the driving force of the demonstration club. And,
Well, Kelly Road is named after Kelly, the Kelly family, right?
yes. Ruby Carroll. Thelma Starr. Edith Atwell, Francis Johnson, they were all driving forces. Daisy Daisy Burrell, Marilyn Cummins, she's the only one still alive out of this entire list of names.
Does she want to be on there? or-
My mom still was.
Sure.
Okay, and then that's probably would be a wise thing to do, I guess, yeah, she might embarrass her too much or something.
Usually your mom stole those or there's not.
Yeah.
You know, Steve, when I look at it, it's almost, from what I remember as a kid, there's 2 generations here. Is that
Yeah.
kind of a true statement?
Yeah.
Because
Cause,
the
well,
ancient ones, as opposed to the old.
well, they're all.
Great
When I look at all these
grandmas,
things,
grandmothers.
Yeah, some of these that. Yeah, like the oldest,
1800s.
Early night, well, give us some time periods, Lori, so
Yeah,
that you.
so we have some depth to
Well-
the conversation.
Well, and
I need Steve.
How old are these
Larry's help here, But I'm thinking, Aggie Shuck is, because she also was involved with the newspaper here years ago.
She established
She
the
established
UMass Courier.
Couriers years ago. And
64, 65. I mean.
But we have people that are old, Ruby Carroll, that's ancient.
Yes,
I mean-
Lulu Warden.
Yeah, Lulu Warden.
What would you think about having all these women and their history put on the site, that you could actually have a QR code on the poster?
And I think you need Irene Denny, because it's an occupation for the ranching.
I think that's a very contemporary thought, Frank.
Thank you.
mhm.
And then like Thelma Starr, she was a charter
Collect
member
the
of
history
the,
and put it in a
of
database.
the, Home Demonstration Club. She helped form it.
What name was that,
Some of these
Steve?
Other ladies, even
Starr.
Claire Boss can't even say that.
Right.
Naomi Marcus.
Bess Edmond, she was incredible around here. She
Yeah.
was always doing stuff. I mean, all of these ladies are worthy for sure. Joe Wonderchin, geez,
There's nothing written after her.
no. It's
Her husband's name was Johnny Wondergen,
Yeah.
right?
Johnny,
And she was Joe.
Joe, yeah,
I
Josephine.
knew- I remember him. I don't remember.
What did she do? There's no.
Well, he was the mayor at one time. She, I don't remember her being a teacher. She was a teacher though, huh? A substitute, or for full time,
Full time,
really?
based upon my oral history that people give me.
But I know she was just a community activist. It was always for the good of the town.
Community activist, you write that in, that's good.
How far back does Frances Greger go
She
back?
goes, she would be the very earliest one. She died in like 1899 or 1904 or something like that.
Okay,
But she is actually the most, in my opinion, the most interesting woman on this list.
We have a photo.
I have a photo of her, yes. Diltzes, they were sisters and they married brothers. But they were heavy into the town.
Okay, so my next question is, do we have any historic photos of the Grange and the Progressive Dames? As a group photo for those organizations?
I don't know about the group photo of the Progressive Dames. I don't recall seeing one. And what was the other question?
Grange.
The Grange,
Great.
I have a picture of the Grange, yeah, the Grange Hall. In fact, I even have a picture when they were building it
Do you?
in 1935 or something like that.
well, I was thinking the members, since you were saying the three groups that these folks belong to.
Yeah, almost, not all of these ladies belong to Grange, a lot of them did. But yeah, I could get a picture of the Grange Hall for sure.
And I'm just brainstorming here, Dave.
Thanks. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Because this is how you start putting together, that's where we start.
that's all.
We have a picture of the Home Demonstration Club, clubhouse too. The Progressive Dames, they met in the Grange Hall, so they did have their own particular building.
Okay,
You
Yeah.
guys gotta figure out who to pick.
well, and I guess where I was thinking was like those clubs is potentially having value, since that's part of where community happens, is when people come together.
Mhm.
And so it's those three groups that these women consistently came together in,
Yes.
that it's from that. I don't know, it's like this nucleus, and then you got all these other
Yeah,
folks that contributed to those, and I just kind of see this interchanging somehow, or intertwining of those.
yeah.
I get like a spider network kind of positive one, happy, kind of.
Yeah, well, that would go with the idea, if we've got pictures of two different groups, then that happens to fit. Where I was looking at going with a center point anyway, which was just a matter of scale. If you found a third on the Grange, we'd make it work. On it, so
Just like
what we need to do then is see what's included, rank out the photos and the most significant in terms of the names. Just kind of rank them and start editing down. From there, I don't know what else to do, but
And you want, how many, a dozen?
That's what he comfortably would have,
that seemed to fit in terms of scale, is the dozen pictures and two group pictures and a old and new park picture to make a point that it centers around the community.
so is Francis Johnson and Daisy Burrell, were they the founding members? They're probably in this picture.
Well, Daisy was an early member, but not, she was late 40s, 50s. So she's midway through the.
Midway
But
through
she
the
was,
history.
she was hugely active though. She was really an active lady.
So Francis Johnson would have been one of the earlier.
Yes, Frances Johnson, she was very early, I got 3. I got 10 that I would definitely like to see on. And would you like to go with Frances Gregor? She's the
Put her down, because she's the oldest.
She's the oldest and she was really, well, you could read what she was.
Did you add Al Burns on your list?
No, I didn't, but let me do that. Let me get that out.
So can I read off the ones I have and see if they're close to what you have, Steve?
Okay, I got 12, so yeah, go ahead.
I have Francis Johnson,
Okay.
Selma Starr, Agnes Shub, Lulu Warden, Ruby Carroll, Bess Inman, Iva Kelly, Claire Voss,
Hang on.
Yeah.
Bess Inman, what now?
Inman, Iva Kelly, Clara Voss. I checked Joe Wonder Jim, Francis Gregor, Al Burns, I think that's 11.
I lost you early. I got.
Sorry,
Francis Johnson,
Francis
Selma
Johnson,
Star.
Agnes, Lulu, Ruby,
Okay,
Bess,
yeah, I got Bess,
Iva,
yeah,
Clara,
yeah,
Joe,
yeah,
Francis,
yeah.
Al.
Well, we're pretty synced.
That's only 11. Who's your 12?
Well, I got Edith Atwell. She was born and raised here.
Okay,
And
up
she
at the
was,
top.
she helped bring telephone service to the Manitou Park
Manitou
area.
Park phone service, I still picking up wire from that,
Yeah.
yeah.
She helped bring REA to
Yep.
the area, her and her
She did.
husband.
You did? Mm-hmm,
So I got Edith, I got Francis, I got Thelma,
mm-hmm.
I got Fern, Ruby, Madeline.
Oops, hang on.
Oh, you have,
Okay,
Madeline, and then Irene,
yeah,
then I got Bess and Mrs. Kelly. Then I got Mrs. Voss. Then I got Francis Gregor and Al Burns.
okay, so we didn't agree on Agnes
Or Jim,
or Fern
or Jim.
or Joe or Madeline or Irene. Well, Irene is the daughter of Spielman's. Spielman's that grew out north that grew all the potatoes and sent them over to the mine. So Irene was,
Yeah,
so
well, there's several Manitou Park people on here.
sure. I'm not. I can be persuaded for anything. I can go any direction. I am not.
Yeah, that's.
I just wanted to try to get some to float up to the top.
Let's start with putting it together and then we'll do a little editing trip when we
Okay.
got the list in front of us.
Maybe-
How about the quality of photos
I was gonna
too?
say,
That's
maybe
what I was
it
gonna
depends
say.
on the quality of the photos that we can get together, because we want good quality photos for the posters.
There's a lot of, I got photos of all the ladies, but some are like Zelma, for example, she's at a VFW meeting. And I could zoom in on her and cut her out of there, but it's not the best photo. So if you got a nice picture of Zelma.
but neither one of you mentioned her.
No, we didn't.
Well, we didn't, yeah. I guess
No, we
didn't.
did. Zelma.
Okay.
You're really watching, aren't you?
Yeah, good job. No, it's her mother Lulu that I lost all the family photos.
Okay.
So
So-
it's, Lulu's the mama, and she died, and I just remember Zelma telling me she died in 55. I think I have her death certificate. But I
Okay,
didn't know much about Lulu.
so what I have for like, who didn't make the cut, because right now you're like at 15. Between the two of you.
Yeah.
So the one, and I'm going down what was not mentioned. So, Zelma Warden,
Her mother would be better for having come here,
but for the
Good
moment,
job.
we can like,
Mhm.
kind of say no.
unless we can't find a picture, but yeah.
Yeah, and we're not gonna find a picture of Lulu. I think I have one, but it's really it's a group photo out in that field and the one on the.
Yeah, and you were hoping that I had something, and I have nothing, so we
So-
might not be able to do wardens.
So the next one that neither one of you mentioned was Bertha Cowitz,
I have a picture of her,
but she didn't make your short list. So I'm just trying to,
but she is very worthy for sure.
They're all worthy, man.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Okay.
all are.
So if we're thinking of just going by quality of picture, Bertha would make the cut then.
I was whittling it down. I just confirming that neither one of you, neither one,
That's right.
she didn't make
Yeah.
either one of y'all's short list. So just for the purposes of whittling,
Sure,
so
Sure.
that's what I'm doing right now.
sure.
So Lavora Dills. Neither one of you mentioned.
Lavora's still alive, isn't she?
Is she the one that's 106 years old?
I don't know if she's alive. I don't have that knowledge.
Maybe I'm
She
getting
was
her
old when I
confused with
was
another Dilt.
13 years old.
Lavora, I'm thinking of Lavora Dilts, never mind.
Well, that's who I had. It was Lavora Dilts. So neither one of you mentioned her. Neither one of you mentioned Lucille Dilts. Nobody mentioned your poor mama, Bernie Cloth.
She's gonna be in the newer group, you know, being from the
Nobody-
sixties.
Nobody mentioned Naomi Marcus. Evelyn Roberts was the next one nobody mentioned. Daisy Burnell was not mentioned. Bessie Roberts was not mentioned. Marilyn Cummins was not mentioned. Mrs. Stafford was not mentioned.
Who was the one before? Bessie Roberts, or was that?
Daisy
Daisy.
Burrell. So what I have is, in terms of who's kind of on the short list at this point, is Edith Atwell, Frances Johnson, Thelma Starr, Agnes Shoup, Lulu Warden, Fern Hammer, Ruby Carroll, Madeline Hughes, Irene Denny, Bess Inman, Iva Kelly, Clara Voss, Joe Wondergem, excuse me, Frances Greger, and Alberta Burns. Keeps hanging in there even though she's not on the list.
And some of these ladies too, like, well, like Fern Hammer, for example. Well, she was in the progressive days. Well, that's not a very good example. Joe Wondergem. Now, she was more involved in her church. And the same with, I guess that's about it. Oh, and then Naomi Marcus, she was involved with the Grange, and remember, she would always win all kinds of prizes at the county fair and all that. And she was more, like I've got written down here, election judges and citizen committee for that. I think the ladies that really made the contributions, in my opinion, would be the home demonstration ladies, Progressive Dames and the Women Park chapter. So I don't know if you want to consider that like
To focus more on those
Like
older
Mrs. Stafford.
organizations.
Mrs. Stafford, for example. She was a wonderful woman. I have nothing but respect for her. I knew her and her daughter very well. But she was not so much helping to get street signs up or a new town hall, something along those lines. She was more helping kids with Vacation Bible School and helping it at the school and things like that. So I wanted to just throw that out there. Al Burns, she was not in any of the clubs, but she was the angel of the hills, like they call it.
Because what did she do?
She was a RN.
Okay,
She was
And
her
her
own
family owned
medical,
Triple B.
she was her only medical person.
And she would come to your house in the middle of the night if you called her, and for free would set your kid's leg. If it was broken, she would treat you for the flu. And all for free for years and years she did that. Never charged anybody. She was like, there was no doctor here. But she was it.
Well, besides you, is there any family left for these women that would be honored by having their, I mean, that could certainly be a criteria if there's living relatives.
Yeah, it was.
Marilyn Cummins is still.
You know, maybe they would like to see their family.
Poets and Hammer, they're there.
Nice to have living people.
Fern Hammer just died within the last year.
Star, there's Star family members still there.
I got stuff on
Marcus
Mark,
family,
I got
yes.
stuff on Marcus from Jake Marcus,
Uh-huh.
said she was.
Robert's family's still there, Cummins,
Oh, yeah, Naomi was honored, but good lady.
Al Burns, her family's still around, Little Canyon. So, yeah, several are still around.
Well, and Evelyn Roberts. That would be,
Mildred's mom,
Mildred's mom.
and Bessie's her grandma.
Mhm. Well, just like Bertha and Fern are sisters. No. And Dick Carpenter is married to Connie Hammer,
Mhm.
so they're still here. Does this pretty much jive with your list as well, Larry?
It does.
Yeah, okay.
It
I
does.
thought so, I thought so.
You know, I did the interview with one arm and all
Mhm.
good, so for sure. Yeah, and Naomi, the whole family has been interviewed. Well, I'm glad to see Bess Inman on here for all she did. And I didn't want her to slide by, for sure. But, you know, it'd be nice to have the Dilts, because the Dilts are famous for being here forevermore also.
Well, I think you
I'm happy
were-
with the list, I really am.
So I think you guys were looking for more than just been here for forever. It's, you know, that other
The
you know,
contribution-
significant contributions to the community.
Robert, for sure, you know, like, homestead, you know, starting and still going family-wide, because we want to do the junction house where the Roberts live, the heritage is still.
Well, do you have that on there? I mean, there's good pictures of the Roberts family, so.
You could potentially do a separate poster on just that.
Yeah, we could. Just for
You
the
know?
Junction House and the Roberts family.
2025.
We
Yeah.
could do that, yeah.
That,
So, because I mean, if 12 is a good number for the layout and with what we're talking about here, maybe we ought to just wait, get like you said, get the pictures pulled.
If too hazy, we don't.
And then just make some decisions from there. Does that sound good? I'm getting a lot of
Yeah.
yeses.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just work on pictures and see what we can come up quality wise.
Yeah,
And,
and like Larry just told me, if they're too hazy, they won't work, and unfortunately, a lot of mine are just that. They're just group photos from a crappy camera a long time ago. But like Madeline Hughes, I have a good one of her.
Well, that's
Several of
okay.
them I got, but
On the wildflower tour, there were a couple of those pictures that were actually, if you look at it, and the quality were not very good, but it nevertheless made an attractive poster, so we take a look at it.
I don't know, what's it take to fix those pictures, because they colorize 1910 films nowadays, why can't they? Fix, I bet you.
Because you're talking about they,
I would say time, money, resources, equipment.
Well, let's see what we can come up with first of all, and see what's usable.
Yeah.
And then would make for a good quality poster, because our hands are gonna be tied to some degree.
And I
with
would-
what we can come up with.
And I would say things that represent the organizations as well as the women as individuals.
by example of that, would be
Well, the Progressive Dames.
like their logo or something.
I don't know. I'm pretty open. So is it like
That, the history of what they did.
a group photo, or is there other projects that like that club did, kind of like the ladies
See,
home
this is-
demonstration club in the park?
This picture here, if we,
You know.
you could do the history of what the demonstration club did. And just list all the women that were involved, and then you kill a bunch of them with that one picture. Not literally, but.
Yeah, combine, intertwine.
I mean, we don't take pictures of grave sites and post it, so we just use, and if the pictures are blurry, what's the, you know, why, I mean. You gotta realize that some of these pictures are early 1900s and late 1800s, so.
Well, as long as we're not blowing it up too bad, it
Oh, yeah.
doesn't become as grainy, number
Right.
one. Number two, if it gets the image sort of, I mean, we can prioritize based on what we see and what you get, because that's what you've done in the past as well, Dave, is,
what I'm doing.
yeah.
We should just find out who has all the pictures and send them to Dave. And let
Well,
Dave
Steve-
print 'em and
Steve
give
has
it-
the biggest source of it, so what we might do, Steve, is if you could, we could get a time when you've kind of gotten things together. Just bring a pile of stuff to the office and I'll start copying and having things set up, and I could kind of go towards the next step there, but I'll have it ready for further editing next meeting.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring some right by this.
Perfect.
You have access to the Historical Society photos too. I presume.
Well, if the whole town does.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay.
Oh, that's good to know, cause I didn't know. This just came out of just made a copy out of the book. The published book, for instance, and so copies of copies lose resolution. So we'll follow up as you get a chance, so get me directed on the thumb drive. And get Miriam to printing and we'll
So I guess
take
that's
it.
that.
Yeah.
The best pictures win.
Okay,
Thanks, Steve, for putting that all together.
But see, these pictures don't look bad. This, as you said, is a copy of a copy. And that to me would be acceptable.
Well,
So-
part of it is not just simply a high resolution copy,
Right.
but it's my test. What makes you want to look closer from across the room?
Right.
What the heck is that?
So a little fuzz is good.
Can be, can be okay.
okay, are we good? Moving on, all right,
I just wanted to give this, Karen, this is actually the original, and it doesn't matter. If you have the original or-
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we're bobbing along with Templeton. I had mentioned I was gonna try to pick up the tombstone and get it in a safe place, but I think we got 3 feet of snow and one, so that wasn't even gonna attempt it.
So you're gonna put it,
I was just gonna, we had a conversation
we did it,
back I was gonna snag it to just keep it safe.
and I'm just offering to put it in, I've got a big shop that's.
That would be fine too, because I didn't go anywhere to get it after we got the snow.
Yeah, just some offering for a good safe place.
Yep.
For it, if we could do that, or if
Mhm,
you don't want it cluttering up your place, I got
That's
a
fine,
big shop that's.
and it would be
secure.
safe.
Yeah, we want to clutter our yards.
No, don't do that.
Well, yeah, wait till you see mine, but
Oh.
I've got a 70 by
You
40.
ain't seen nothing till you seen that old ring.
I don't care what you got, if you got less than 100 acres.
Great
John,
shows, you know.
you got yours.
I got 5 acres of junk, so.
Are we confessing to code violations? Is that what I'm hearing?
Not in the city.
Okay.
I made a new sketch. I don't know if we have time to look at it.
Yeah, what,
Okay, so I don't think I have enough. If you guys-
new sketch, okay.
So I don't know if you all remember, but I had sent Greg Brown, the owner of the golf course, an exhibit
Uh-huh,
that was 30 feet and it went right through the middle of track C, because I didn't, and then I realized that there was a PUD for that with the approved lots. I was like, well, no wonder he didn't like that. I just didn't look at the PUD.
okay,
So this time, and I just did this recently, so he hasn't had time to respond probably. But this time, the cyan line going across track C is 20 foot in width. And it follows, it's parallel to the east line of track C, which kind of makes sense to me, and the topography would allow it a lot better than what I've done before. And I'm just waiting for a response that I can report on next time, because the first one I sent, he goes, well, can't, the property owners next door in Flying Cloud,
me.
would they do it? Yeah, and I wasn't gonna bring up any names. I talked to their property owner. And, he said, no, no way. And I wouldn't want it either. And this is, on the PUD, it's all drawn wrong. These are accurate property lines on the imagery. And I really believe this is
Drawn wrong.
PUD, well, yeah, it's, I'd have to have it here to show you, but it's not really
No.
good. They show the
Let
road.
Karen know that that's an issue, that we probably have historically lots of those,
We
actually.
know, you know, and it's pretty rudimentary. They have a road coming in. And a cul-de-sac down here to access the, whatever these were, single family. That's not work, that's like 40 feet of cut right here, and it just doesn't work. So this would work for everybody. So I'm just waiting to hear from Greg about it. Because
Well,
obviously we need access,
yeah,
there's no
but
access.
it's platted to build, you know, this is real steep in here.
Well, they need access too, to get to those, right?
And
Yeah, who would build that?
someday somebody's going to want to possibly put houses.
Well,
townhomes.
they'll need access and it's
Is
it's
that-
not gonna work over here, right?
We
Absolutely,
can
and
go
that's a
through.
floodplain.
Your property, yeah, so this to me would be good, maybe for everybody, and I thought I could
And it
also,
would end down here at the cemetery?
yeah, it
Who would-
terminates at the.
Now, who would be on the hook for that? Cause that's undeveloped, so you'd have to at least put a grader over.
Yeah,
trees.
I think between all of us, we would know an excavator.
No, I mean, who would pay for that then? That would be us.
Well, there's two different issues. One is the legal right to cross the land to get there, and then you're down the road a piece in
Right.
terms of a navigable path.
Yeah.
And is that,
Mine wasn't
would,
very
and if that was, would that be a city responsibility to make that road? Is this within city? See, these are all dirt roads. See, these aren't.
It's all
that's not
golf
city.
carts and yeah, this is a dedicated right of way here.
Yeah.
And so is this, cause this got shut off and it goes.
Where does the city property end for Val?
The city,
Is this the outs, is this all within the city?
yes, it's all been annexed, right?
Yeah.
It's
Has
all
it?
annexed in the city,
Yeah.
all of this. This is
I'm in the
golf course.
county,
You're in the county.
this
so
is in the city,
That's what I asked. Okay, that's what I
and
thought.
it's shared fight over me road between city and county in here.
Yeah, well,
So just,
the frontage where it pulls into the parking lot where the paved road is, Highway
But
twenty-four.
you
is
guys,
certainly considered-
could we not, is historically, when it comes to cemeteries, could it, I can see the golf course not wanting to develop or commit to anything like that because it could change what they potentially could do here. But what if the proposal was a footpath to get in there as opposed to a trail would allow public access? Wouldn't that meet the criteria of public access? People
I
could
think,
walk to it?
yeah, I think the easement would come first, right? That's why. We gotta get that and get the grants, get him to grant that. And I can draw the legal descriptions and describe it and all that sort of thing. It's him, whether it's for vehicle or footpath, like I narrowed it down to 20 feet, which. You know, you definitely wanna make it so a vehicle could get down there someday. And there's no access to the cemetery. So I've been talking to CVLAC a lot about this and he's got good ideas. We were studying, which. I didn't have really time today, but we were studying private and public cemeteries. It's pretty complex.
So is there accessibility from over on this other side?
Let's see, you're looking on the south, no.
It's
Mm-mm.
pretty much all with the development that's gone over there.
That's Fairway Pines and.
Right,
the
and there's nothing,
cul-de-sacs.
there's nothing that could possibly be a footpath back from that direction in.
You would have to get an easement across one of those lots. Because Fairway Pines is what
And that
borders on
place, I don't
it.
see that either.
No, but I really think if I stay persistent with Greg, this is on the market, so the golf courses will say.
And that,
He's
that
been,
part of land, there's 135 acres that are being promoted on that sale. That's high-end home lots, so.
I just looked at the list.
That's what I
today,
thought.
yeah,
But it's,
355
I mean, it's, like I
acres.
said, guys, this is super steep in
Mhm.
here, so, but they can still do something with that.
But I still think that the access they show on the PUD would not work.
Yeah.
You'd have to cut those slopes back 100 feet. You know, and this. See if we get Greg to agree on granting an easement. And this is something he'd like. I also thought about cutting it across over the Lucky Lady, but then you don't have the view. You don't have the line of sight distances from that. And plus you got the PUD shows it going across this person's lot, your neighbor's lot here. They show that road going right across that without an easement or anything, so. Once Greg agrees to an easement, I think it should be done regardless of what happens with this, because it'll get access there. What do you think, Lori? It's right on your, right in your neighborhood there.
I know based on the way the PUD was originally done. This has always been a possibility to do a variety of things, and it just kind of depends on who and when somebody wants to develop it, what it could look like. I do know that this floodplain is very real, and I do
Mhm.
know that this water's backed up in here right now.
Mhm.
And we keep raising this road in here. And
This
because the
whole always has
water, the water is outside of its natural channel, because when they built this fairway in here, they pushed it out of Trout Creek. And they lowered this area when they cut in these holes in here. So they've created a problem, and so it doesn't run in the natural channel down here, right in here. And so this whole thing floods. And
You can
right
see
now,
it on the imagery, you can see it's not in its natural way. It used to go under those RCPs that go, or those
Correct.
CMPs that go under the
Correct,
two
and that
roads.
concerns me, because what you've done is you've pushed because of the golf course, they pushed it the way they developed it. So now you've jeopardized, the floodplain is now a larger area because of the topography in here, so now you have jeopardized your accessibility to this as well.
See, and I thought about coming in, this would be about a 4 foot or 5 foot cut right here, but that would
But my
eliminate.
property
this.
line actually
Well, this,
goes right down into here, it intersects
does.
on the curve of that, a flying cloud.
yeah, but this
Of
is,
Lucky Lady Dark.
I know this is small, but this is very accurate. You can see I have property corners to define it.
Mhm.
And I don't. That's why we're having a discussion, to see what, we'll just see what Greg says about this.
Well, and the IREA core line goes up and over right
Yeah.
here. And so, first thing that came to my mind is why not use the same easement and walk the same line, but that's
You can walk it, but.
that's a foot, BITCH of a height through there.
I see us trying to fix the stones and stuff, right? Wouldn't it be nice to get
Yeah,
I'm
I got
still-
equipment that, or my neighbor has a tractor, I know you have a tractor, but I mean,
Yeah, but-
we wanna get access to go, unless we
And
don't
really-
across your property.
but
Well-
that's not gonna work either through mine.
Of course not.
No,
No, that's why I said no, that's why I'm presenting this to him. And I had a bunch of stuff going on, so I didn't do it till recently, but I'll get a response from him. He's responsive. And another thing we all need to think about is the encroachment of hole 2. Steve Elak keeps bringing that up. He's a title guy.
yeah,
See the green
Mhm.
and the sand trap and their frisbee golf thing is right there. These are all
Temporary buildings.
no, these are all grave sites.
Oh, these
That I
are
can see in the ground.
here.
Little tiny things.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the temporary buildings they have for the frisbee golf.
No, they have baskets that they shouldn't be putting on here, bouncing their frisbees off of the cemetery. So
And that one is right there too.
really not cool. But something needs to be done about that, and it's not like this committee has a whole bunch of money, right? But this needs to be. This needs to be fixed, because that's an encroachment,
Mhm.
and then.
well, they did that back cut.
That's bad, it's bad, top of slopes way up here. So, and Steve's saying to get them, they need to move it, but I don't think that's gonna happen, because there's cliff line right there. You can, so anyway, that's,
There's several, issues there.
but whether it's foot or whatever, yeah, I think that needs to be something.
Well, thank you for continuing to
Well-
push it, Steve.
Well, before we end this, subject, when do you think we might be to the point where this committee of yours needs to talk to the planning commissioner, the commissioners, or whoever, and say, hey, guys, you have an extremely historic cemetery here that you own, and it shouldn't be kept from the public. And see what they say, and maybe they'll have some answers that nobody in this room knows about or something.
That would be Karen, correct? It's in the city, it's not in the county. Would you include the commissioners?
No, no, I'm not talking about the commissioners at all, just
Okay.
somebody with the city that realizes the importance of this piece of land here and how it shouldn't be kept from the public, how it should be available to the public.
Did we ever determine ownership?
It's Greg Brown's, all of it. The dedication is what's unclear. That's why Steve and I are looking at dedication. It was not dedicated to anything. It was just dedicated as a cemetery. But it's all the golf course property, track C, big parcel, and the cemetery.
So on the plat, it actually shows that it's cemetery.
It's on the
And
PUD, it just depends on.
And in the city.
And the assessor site has, Lynn Bretac has it showing. But there's other maps that don't have it, but it's definitely got a deed and it's dedicated, so.
It just didn't get dedicated
And
to
you're-
somebody or something.
Correct, it didn't, yeah, so.
Oh,
I mean, Steve, I mean, that's.
So it didn't get
terrible
awarded?
to have.
Is that what he's, is that what you're saying?
No, it's
That's a
recorded,
important
it's
piece of
recorded, but it
history.
wasn't dedicated to a entity,
Lori, what's your house number?
472.
Okay, thank you.
So it's designated as a cemetery, but it hasn't been designated to who actually owns that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's supposed to
So
be,
it hasn't been deeded to the city?
it's deeded, but it's not dedicated as a cemetery, because that's, I learned that from the title.
There's a
guide.
difference?
Yes,
Yeah, not designation and dedication, two different things. Dedication is probably what Woodland Park
I would
Cemetery.
have thought once a cemetery is deeded, that would be the end of it, because if it ends up at city property, it would be city responsibility.
That's why this conversation with the title guy is so important. There's a lot, it's complicated.
Yeah.
And just would hope that nobody's disturbed any of the grave sites there. And this needs to be fixed at some time. So it's all worth talking about.
And speaking of disturbing gravesites, I'm in the final stages of getting the Colorado School of Mines down to another Park County cemetery.
The cadaver?
No,
they do
they're
the
actual
actual
ground penetrating radar. They use 3 different forms of it. And so I'm supposed to meet them next week. And, but I'm sure I could get them to come down to the Templeton Cemetery if we get permission to get on the property with them.
How
And
does their equipment, is their equipment something they can carry or do they have?
no,
to
they would
drive it?
need like a, let's say a golf cart with a little trailer behind it.
well, you can get in on there, on the trail,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then just park and walk. I
well,
mean, you can get,
yeah, you
if
can
the
walk
golf
across
course
the
gives
trail.
them gives them permission, they can drive all the way up right to
Yeah.
the site, so.
or at least to the toe of the hill.
Would you want me to pursue that, you guys as a group?
Oops.
It seems if you have their ear, anything we can do to get their help to document grave sites, since we've been talking about the penetrating radar.
Why are you having the
It-
radar?
it- what the-
Go for it.
Is this at no charge type of thing?
No charge now, they've done 3 cemeteries for me, at my request, all for free.
But you said
It-
dogs are better.
The dogs are better, yeah, but that's gonna cost.
Okay, but we have to start somewhere. And if we start with ground penetrating radar, we can at least begin to document the grave sites accurate, 100% accurate, or at least partially percent. And then down the road, we can consider the dogs. But for now, with your experience, has that been a good thing to do?
Let me just tell you how accurate they are. The first time they did Lake George Cemetery for me,
Yeah,
as I said, they have 3 different methods of doing this, and they did all 3, and then they combined the results, and they plot it, and they put it on a computer map. Drove a stake in the ground where they say one's at and all that, so after they did that, I wanted to see how accurate they were,
so you dug down.
so I dug down. And they were accurate. Well, it wasn't anything out of disrespect, it was to learn if there was actually a grave there.
But it seems if we're going to document, to get to eventually go to a planning commission or to begin a process, we need data.
Mhm.
And I can map it, that's the beauty of, I mean, I have a network here and. Once the stakes put in the ground, those go away, right? So I can map it in my system on that.
Yeah, that would be great,
Yeah, and then document it.
yeah.
We can use
And I
iron.
wanna just clarify though, I did not dig until I found the skeleton.
I was wondering.
When the soil
I wasn't
changed,
gonna
We
ask.
It was in your mind, right?
when the soil changed, and they started seeing wood products, that
Yeah,
was,
you could tell.
that was it.
Mhm.
I was wondering which part you stopped at.
That's the guy's left arm.
Okay,
What do you guys think? I mean, Karen, yes.
I was gonna say, part of what I think is the issue is I appreciate how you've got this drawn, Eric, and it looks like it's a piece.
It is, yeah.
Well, the assessor doesn't have it set up as a separate
That's,
piece.
and that's, I spoke wrong about that, them saying about Linda Bretag, because I thought I've clicked on that before. But so it's not, she doesn't have it drawn.
If you,
Cause I've sure talked about her.
yeah,
about it to her.
because this green line here, that's a property line. So this is track C up
Yeah,
here where
so
that
it's
goes
not
around.
drawn in there, But it
So,
is a-
and this, see that account number that ends in 135? If I click on this side of the floodplain, I get the same account number. So they view that as all one thing.
But it's not, and I have talked to Linda about it with Steve Elack, and it needs, I'll continue that conversation with her.
The
Well-
assessor did not put it in to match the plat.
Well, and where I'm going with it though is, they look at it for taxation purposes. So like, who's the owner? Who's paying taxes on it? And it's Shining Mountain Enterprises
Right.
that's paying taxes on the
Yes.
cemetery.
Yes.
So you potentially need to work with that landowner to amend the plat to get that truly set up as a distinct parcel with clear access. Because right now, if I remember right, part of the reason the access isn't as clear is because it's like considered part of other pieces.
Well, that's why I tried, if we can get permission to go across track C. This will be cleared up. This is definitely a separate parcel,
But
and
I don't think it's platted that way at the
it's not,
moment.
platted, none of this is platted,
That's the problem.
right?
So it is considered a
On the
piece.
On the original plat. It is drawn in and labeled as such.
Yeah, don't,
Cemetery.
that's a plat though, right? Are you talking about the PUD? Because it's not platted.
It's
Does it
not.
say, Karen, when you look at the description, see its meets and bounds?
Yeah,
Just a meets and bounds?
Mhm.
Okay, never mind. I thought it was,
yeah.
But I have the document that
Okay.
your dad
Okay.
wrote it, I found the corners, and it's there,
Image?
I argued that. all.
Is that an actual image you can click?
Yeah,
there's an image
this
up
is the
there.
county assessor's website.
Yeah, no, I was looking at that, when you clicked it, it had a property image and I didn't know if that. image-
Oh, property detail?
Yeah, see, that's all it shows. The golf course.
Yeah, but it does
Yeah.
have track C like Karen pointed out. I
Well,
think
and that's why when
just-
you look at this little area in here, you can see that,
You see the
what
blue
is
lines.
cyan?
Cyan. yeah.
Cyan,
Mhm.
outlined. So that's what's considered the piece according to the
that's that.
assessors. This is track C right there, the little
Yeah.
piece that kind of looks like New Hampshire.
You click that, that's a different number than what you're showing for the cemetery.
So it's still, yeah, but it's still Shining Mountain,
Oh,
Greg
yeah.
Brown, it'll be under Greg Brown. Or his.
Shining Mountain
you're at
Enterprise.
least having dialogue with Craig Brown.
Yes.
So that's good. So as you continue through this process. What do you guys think? If we got Greg Brown's permission, there's no reason why we shouldn't have Steve continue with his contacts with the penetrating radar. If we can get him in there, it's all part of us continuing to work towards documenting it.
Part of my talking to Greg will be, do we have permission? I'll go to the manager of the golf course, do we have permission to get on that golf track, because it's right on the old Lucky Lady Road,
Right.
you know, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just
you get
go
on that.
see and help, I'm sure, but imagine from my conversations with him, he will be okay with that, but I would hate to do it without the permission.
No, we need permission.
Yes,
And Eric, the last I recall is he was not opposed to donating that, a certain amount of acreage.
there was talk about it, he was interested in potentially getting rid of it, or. And then there was conversation with Mount Memorial about somehow they got brought into the conversation. About urns and all that, and that's didn't go anywhere, which they can't. You gotta get access first and then we'll. Yeah, we'll
It'd be nice if
He was very, first time I talked to him, I called you, I was so
Yeah.
excited, how the heck am I gonna get hold of this guy, and I ended up talking to him.
Well, track C, Mountain Memorial should be interested in track C, then they can just have a walking trail and people can bury their loved ones up there.
That's why I don't let that conversation go any further, because I wanted to talk to you about it, or this committee,
I'd rather
Because
have
they
that
feel
than a
big-
bunch of town
big
ones.
interest in it. But not,
Thinking a walking trail would be better than the road.
But walking trail and people burying their loved ones as opposed to in this whole area adjacent to this area.
How many acres is the cemetery sitting? on?
5.
And does that show boundaries, what you're looking at?
and like I was saying that.
So those
Lori's
are
dad
actually,
said that I found the corners.
oh, okay.
I found the property corners, little green dots are really hard to see, but I
Right.
found monumentation all the way around this.
Wow.
And there's a Fred block. Legal description and exhibit attached to a deed. So to me, that's.
Relation? Oh.
Daddy.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, a lot of.
Yeah, that's so.
And that's the word they used to use back.
Yeah, I
in-
keep, I
No,
think
not that
everybody's
far.
been here for a
Oh,
long
no,
time.
I've only been here for 10 years. This is the most marvelous to hear all this history and
I'm a
But
surveyor and I've
see,
been looking
here's,
at.
I know you did my.
but right here is where we think there's some, but if we did the ground penetrating radar, we would find out how.
Yeah,
I know Steve
what
thinks
it
that
is.
that might continue clear up into here.
no,
And I, that's kind of.
I kind of agree because of the clearing that's here, that it would stand to reason that there would be more graves there.
I definitely have
Supposedly
great
there's like
sites.
25 of them, I believe.
But you said in the one that there might be as many as 100?
No, I've never used that word at
No,
all.
you would know. I was surprised. at the
Maybe
amount.
2025.
20 to 25.
It's up, man, off the
So
red.
what do you guys think? Do we want to tell Steve, yes, we would like to try to get him in there? If we can get him in there, you can get the property owner's permission. I think it would behoove us to have more data.
It certainly would be, since it is for sale, it would be good to have this straightened out before the property's sold. So we
Well,
would
that's-
start over from
The more you
scratch.
find, the more credibility is to the necessity of
Bingo.
preservation.
Right.
Bingo, bingo.
You go, okay, right?
Okay.
So what
Steve
was
said-
that?
Huh?
So I can make sure it's in the minutes correctly. What was that?
Steve is going to
Contact
discuss his contacts at
CMS.
What is C?
CS.
Colorado School of
CSM.
Mines, Colorado School of Mines with their ground penetrating radar. They're coming up to this neck of the woods to do some work at Steve's request in Park County. And he's going to ask them to come over here to Teller County if Eric can get Greg Brown's permission to access and get some data for us maybe.
Okay.
That'd be pretty slick.
Then we'll establish the easement by use, right?
I mean, hey,
Just-
okay.
Another 19 years you
Okay,
got.
okay, let's move on to the next one here. Historic designation possibility of 107 West Henrietta Avenue. I know nothing about this.
I've been, I touched base with, I just mentioned it to him and, been out of contact for a couple weeks. So, I'll follow up on that.
Which building, what house, what building?
That's a church, is it?
We talked about this last meeting.
I'm
Yeah.
zoned.
okay.
It's the old church, it's the old church, but across the
The
park.
old community church?
The old
Yeah.
community
Oh, okay.
church about it,
Yeah, it's
which
on
has
that.
been added on
Yes.
too many times.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't have, it's been
I don't
it's
know
been
about
added
that.
and modified and built on, so it would not qualify for anything outside of the honorary designation of a historic place from this group. The owners would be very happy to do that. We just didn't get as far as scheduling for them to show up a little bit for the meeting to tell them what they got. So I thought it would be an asset to everybody to continue considering that.
Agreed. Cool. Thank you. Okay, next
So-
item.
So
Yeah,
they're welcome to contact us down in planning and, we can get them started with forms and process and such.
That's how to go. That's the only way to go. That's how you get the people planning.
We do our best.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if it's gonna come into that. I've talked to Burgess, about it for just a, we're getting into a change of occupancy. I don't know that, how that might interface with planning, but it should be known by everybody, because it's gonna be a submittal for some remodel.
Yeah, that's one thing, but to go through historic designation, you also start in the planning office, since we help with the forms. We write the staff report. We service this committee.
Good,
So,
good to know.
yeah.
Do that, absolutely.
That's that one.
Okay, then the next one we have on here is 312 Northwest Street. Preschool in the Pines right over here.
Yep. And this is just an FYI for you guys. If you drive by, you will see signs on the corners, where it talks about change in use. That is actually a parcel of land that consists of 3 parcels. The preschool in the Pines building is in the middle. And I forget when the ownership changed. They're doing nothing to the building. Nothing. What they are interested in is the lot on either side that they are wanting to put a duplex in on either side. So the signs that you see up right now are for a change in use, since it's a commercial zone. In order to locate residences in a commercial zone, it has to go through a change in use process. The reason I also bring this up and mention it is the way the ordinance is written for the historic designation is it includes all 3 lots. So I touched base with legal, city attorney about this. And her advice was to basically go back through the same process to request to peel off those 2 outer lots. So they are no longer part of the property where the building is, that keeps the designation. So I don't have an application from them yet. Highly likely, you will be sitting in a QJ capacity, reviewing that in depth at a future meeting.
Which, what, the preschool, is that, what, is it still a preschool? What is there now? Is that the short-term
I-
rental we're talking about?
I don't know what it is right now.
It's a short-term rental, right? It's the one that the city required them
We
to chain
did
up
it
there.
when We did the tour,
Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure it's the same place.
same place.
Yeah, okay.
Do these people still have an interest in maintaining their historical designation? As far as we know,
I've not talked to them. I don't, my understanding is that it would stay with the building in the center lot.
they have an interest in but we don't know for sure.
We don't
They even
know.
Have that interest.
But that's where I was approaching it with them, is it stays, the objective is to amend the ordinance, so it sticks with the building and the piece of land that it's on. And then the lot on either side is what gets removed. So the designation would stay with the center building, was my thought,
Yeah, they didn't,
so.
they have to put the plaque up still, they didn't.
They
put the
did,
plaque up?
they did.
Okay,
So it wasn't well.
wasn't up when we did the inspection.
Let's back up.
Let's back up, Steve.
And then I know, in Park County, when we have something like that, we outline a footprint around the actual historic site. And then describe what the perimeters of the footprint are, if that's anything you could use.
Well, it would be cause it's
Center
3 lots, so it would be the center lot. So right now it's like lots 1 through 3, and so the revised ordinance would be lot 2. You know, so, but to get there, since it's an ordinance, it's the only thing we can think of is you gotta go back through the same process, which is review and recommendation by this committee, and then, hearing and decision by city council, since it's an ordinance. Like I said, I don't have an application, I've not talked to
And
them.
it also presumes that they want to keep that designation. I mean,
Yeah,
that it would even come to us,
what's that?
so that it would even come to us, Karen.
Well, even to revoke the designation,
Make
it still
it-
comes back through here,
Mhm.
so that's why I'm approaching it right now,
Sure.
from the standpoint of just to amend
To let
the
us know.
to amend the
Gotcha.
designation.
Okay,
To, yeah, so just
Okay.
revise the land area associated with the designation.
okay,
So that's what that is, it's just an FYI. For a future application.
okay, thank you. Okay, any update from Kimberly on the?
I was starting work on that and going back through it. One of the things that she was after, and I know she sent emails, was a resume from everybody that's working on the project. Mr. Langley was very gracious. And
Which is that?
the resume that
Oh.
you provided related to that. And I was looking at that, it's like, I need to trim mine back, pretty substantially, just so it focuses on that. And then anybody else has something, that would be great. That's one of the components that we need to pull together to submit. And then when were the original schematics done, Dave? The MEP drawings, what's the date on those? Do you remember?
Which one of it?
The baggage building.
Oh. No, there was a foundation plan done a few years ago, but there isn't anything else.
Oh, is that what it is?
uh,
Okay,
Other than the, drawings, the schematics I did, which facilitated the demo, asbestos abatement, and, the general context of what you expect to be done. But there's been no mechanical, electrical, plumbing,
okay.
there's been nothing else, period.
Do you remember when the schematics were done?
All that I did?
Um,
No, I
Okay,
got the file right on top, but
okay.
Karen, when you say it's the schematics, you mean just for the building or for everything or what? Cause I have some blueprints at home of that building when they moved it over there.
Yeah, no,
It's gonna be, all that.
I think I'm talking about the drawings that were done for the asbestos abatement, and I probably have them. I just,
How long have you been here now? 2 years? In
a little
December?
over, yeah, it was
Little over 2 years.
2 in December
It was at least 2 or 3 years
before that.
prior to that.
Okay,
Because when Sally had them, we were still just,
pre-COVID?
could be pre-COVID.
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It was,
Okay, I'm gonna say
Well-
2018 plus or minus.
Yeah, it'll be in that
so
ballpark.
it's into that, we have, I should have, if I recall, we actually sent you the drawings which are dated.
Okay. I know Dory's got everything filed, so I just haven't dug through it. So anyhow, did start that, picking it back up, definitely need to finish pulling information together so we can at least turn something in and get them to say, plus this out or what. So you had a little traction, not much, but a little,
Little bit.
which is
okay.
more than you had for several months, so.
This is true. Okay, committee reports. Dave, do you have anything to share with us?
Nothing else ready at this time, no.
Okay. Eric,
Nothing to report or talk about.
thank you for your work on the
Yeah.
cemetery. Thank you for your work on the sign employees. Larry? Anything to report?
One short one,
Okay,
it will be a preview of the Mighty Midland on June 7th,
really?
but we don't know where. and time. We're trying to get the theater to be available. So, but it will be June 7th, but where and time, don't know yet. I'll know at next meeting.
Were you trying to get the theater?
The committee's trying to get the theater, 100 seating or whatever, and the theater closed, whatever, the logistics are not good, but they're working on it, and making it available, rather than doing it at the culture center.
Would I be stepping over my boundaries if I asked? I'm meeting with Paige on Thursday. But Doug Page, and I might mention it, like, you know, anyone, I mean, not, it's not this committee. Who is? So you pass, yeah.
Mass Historical Society, Mighty Midland,
Or if I just inquire and ask, get a
Inquire.
feel for,
I have no problem with that, not out of line.
yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. Feel that well, but the Doug's office is right there and I just might ask him.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
That's what I
Right.
say, yeah.
Oh,
You might get a hell no, right?
that just might. Steve, do you have
They
any?
asked about one of the potholes.
Oh, yeah, oh my gosh.
Steve, anything to share?
Yeah. I was with Donna Pinnacle the other day for quite a number of hours. And I mentioned to her the correlation of the Roberts House and the Cristola Bridge. And what a money generator it would be to the city of Woodland Park if we could come up with some kind of festival like Pikes Peak Ocean Highway Day, something like that. Some towns across the US, I might have mentioned this before, have an annual celebration and it's a big money generator. And Donna would like to meet with this committee and somebody with the city and DDA even, I think she mentioned, and try to get something going, see if any of this is possible, of something like that, where you could meet at the Roberts house and walk to the bridge and old cars show up and such and such.
Well, we kind of had talked about an ocean to ocean highway celebration, what it could look like, but we also talked about the coalition or the county coming back up with their historical group, and I don't know what they call it, and I guess they have a few people on that committee now.
Yes.
Has
And
anything
Donna
been
wanted them included also.
included? I'll touch base with Donna and just as well and talk to her.
Would you do that? Cause I
Yeah.
told her I would ask you if you could do that. but-
Okay, I'll just touch base with Donna and see if I can stir something up there. That's gonna be a long project.
Oh, yeah.
Probably put something together.
I mean, if something like that would be years away, but.
Okay.
Start, you gotta start someplace.
Yep, I'll talk to her, see what she's thinking. Happy to. Anything else? Okay, I'd like to share a couple things. I visited with Pat Hislop, remember about us getting kids involved somehow and participating. One of the things Pat suggested is could we tie something together each year with our poster? So for example, second graders are taught Colorado history. That's the point of which I guess now they're taught a little bit of history. So she's wondering if women is the subject this year, if there was something that they could be directed to read and then do a poster contest. They would draw up the posters, we would judge the posters, we could award them something. We could present the award in front of council, we could give them a gift certificate to McDonald's or something that we would want to come up with to do. So it wouldn't cost us. It would fit into probably a small amount if we need to come up with dollars, but basically Pat was going to brainstorm with one of the teachers. We would have to, what's her name, Jennifer? We would have to decide, would we start small and just do 1 or 2 schools? Would we do more than 1 or 2 schools and grow it with the idea that it could be in conjunction with History Month in May or not? It kind of depends. I deferred to Pat with their discussion with the teachers. When would they want to do it? When would it fit into their curriculum? And let them totally dictate when they would like us to kind of kickstart this to get it going so that we could annually maybe do something related to our poster every year, if we do one every year, to tie them together, to weave it together. So I had that conversation with Pat. The ball's in Pat's court to talk to the teachers, since it's spring break, we're kind of in that no man's land, and see what we come up with, and I will bring some more information back. Because that's something that we had brainstormed about, how to get involved with the schools and be part of that. So I did that, and that's where that's at.
Having done, for whatever it's worth, having done posters for years related to trees,
Okay,
brush, Arbor Day. I would say just start with 1 school, just to kind of like work the bugs out and then expand.
absolutely. And it's more, the teachers would handle the whole thing. I think it'll be a learning process for us just to get started, and with your experience, we can fold that in and go from there. But it might also be in for us to begin to start thinking about that student representative that we have struggled for years to try to pull in. So it's just a thought, and that's kind of, and I think it'd be cool if we could tie it to the poster somehow. If we can't, we can't, but the concept of maybe we could. I've mentioned a couple times, we can appoint a special committee, an ad hoc committee, and Steve is our ad hoc committee. So I would like to appoint I don't know what to call it, short of a special projects committee, and the member is Steve. So
Membership is one good person.
right now, and we can rotate on and off with them depending on what the project is. So for example, sometimes Eric is going to be involved, maybe with the ground penetrating and Greg Brown and helping from that perspective. We've got the poster issue going on. So Dave, Special Projects Committee. So we've had Linda with the banner. These are just some examples I'm using. And the cemetery, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just throwing that out. What do you guys think of that idea?
I think it's excellent.
I think it's excellent too. And do you have any ideas about what that committee could be called besides the Steve Committee? But it's like.
Based off my personality or what?
But
I
the
would just call it special projects.
Special Projects
I think
Committee,
that's a good one.
HSP,
HSP
Historical Special Projects.
projects. Okay, yes. Dave.
It correlates with stuff linked to in my business where somebody's got an offshoot of their corporation that need to do something, and that's a common sort of designation.
Okay, cool.
Does that person get a rank? Like assistant chairman or chairman?
He's,
CEO.
I think he'll be
Project.
CEO of the Special Projects Committee. I think that we can do that. So do we need, I don't know if we need a motion to do that or whatever, but I think we need to document it and have it so that Steve, when he does speak or give a presentation, he can actually say things like he's part of the Historical Preservation Committee. I think it would be a good thing
Make that motion.
because so somebody want, just for the record,
I move that we set up a special projects committee designation at this time to include Steve Blue.
do we have a second? Larry seconded. All those in favor? And you can't back out, Steve, so thank you very much. So I want to just throw this out to you guys.
Yeah.
Steve has a program called the History of Ute Pass that is ready to go at any time we would want to utilize it, or if we feel we have an opportunity to present it. How long is that presentation? Steve, okay, it's
15,000 words.
it's probably fairly long. I think we should think about how we could possibly make use of it. And I guess one of the things that comes to my mind is, weren't we going to reach out to property owners to pull them in, to invite them?
We did that last year.
I know, but down the road, when we do it again too, that would be a time where we could possibly incorporate things like that too. For that group of individuals that may not be plugged into Ute Pass Historical Society, we could plug them into something like that. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out as a possibility, to keep the groups dovetailed together. And my understanding is, flipping gears a little bit, the COG, the decision was made to put it down at that end of town,
Mhm.
At the Centennial Trailhead
trail.
on Walnut Street.
right? And some,
There's a snag with that, correct? I've heard.
What's the snag?
We voted for it, so I don't think there's a snag. It got approved
It's
to the
just-
city council, so if there's a snag, it's
I
afterwards.
thought, so yeah, that's what hearsay does. I heard that.
And as far as I know, the council voted for it, it's passed, and it's not gonna happen unless there is a planning or, site issue, but
Or
Our issue, right?
logistics issue.
well, there are logistics
But-
issues, because they want it moved sooner than the site can be prepped to put it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
one of the things we talked about, and I don't know if they'll do it, is just set it on dunnage until a site is prepped. Move it, but that takes 2 moves, and, the owners of the property at, that where it's at now, will only move it 1 time, so.
Yeah,
That might be what you're
I
talking
thought it
about.
was a done deal. No, somebody told me that.
No, the
It's a
move
snag
is, the move and where it's gonna go is a done
Right,
deal.
and I told with that, Ed Asbill and Dave Mahara says. doing his engineering
Right.
thing or whatever, so.
So the only snag we have is the complexity of the site prep at the new site compared to when they want to move.
Just a rumor that.
Well, and
So-
there is an administrative kind of thing that, because time is of the essence, you know, let's get it done, but right now that is also multiple parcels, so it does need to be replat, it's an exemption plat, so, or administrative replat. That does need to be redrawn into one lot, but my take was, okay, let's just make sure we know where all the utilities are, stay the heck off of them, and we'll get that going, so I think that's coming, but it's not gonna be
Working together.
the obstacle for the move,
Yeah.
so.
I think we're gonna work very well together, get it done as fast as the new builders want it moved, but they know that realistically, we still have to have, I mean, we're a city, we don't move it 1,000 miles, right? You know, these construction guys can pick up a phone and have it,
Oh,
50
yeah,
day crane
yeah.
show up, pick it up, set it on a truck and drive it over there. And they'll let that truck driver sit there till the city's ready to move it.
I'd also like to
chopping up
point
the
out that they have owned the property for over a year.
Absolutely.
Nobody has done the engineering on the receiving site regardless of where it was going to go.
That's right.
So it's not like
Absolutely.
they've been doing that work either.
No, and there is disappointment for the lack of what they've moved forward with, you know, so far. I mean, when I voted approval of this, I thought, you know, exactly that come the first, you know, yesterday, that we'd have all kinds of stuff moving around down there. That ain't the case. So I'm absolutely a little bit disappointed at that. You know, I figured that we'd have some progress, and, you know, about a year later, after being chimed in about selling that property at low rates, you know, and I said, well, wait, do you see this thing that they're, and, you know, we're not doing anything. So, you know, another year goes by and I'm looking at this hole in the ground, you know, now this is the 11th year I'm looking at it. So at least 11 years ago, I have pictures of them practicing the color guard on horses there, you know, so at least I have that memory.
Okay, so. And Ben and company are all plugged into the sign that we invested in. The signage,
You saw the email.
I saw the email, so hopefully Ben is plugged into. Making sure our sign is, so we don't. Have that added expense to fix it or. Because when it was put in. Jeff Cahill made it so that it can be. Removed. It's good, but it's gonna take some TLC to do it.
Can we do that?
I think it's gonna require some jackhammering TLC to
Okay,
around the
okay.
concrete in order to free up. But the point is that the sign was put in. Here was the other thing with the sign. We had it facing north on purpose to minimize the sun that was gonna hit it. Depending on where it's located over there too, you know. The signage, because we on purpose had it so that we wouldn't get as much sun to bleach it out, so it would last longer. Little things like that, so hopefully. Things will come together, and. I don't know if Jeff would be willing to participate in that process or not, but I had sent an email. If I copied you guys or not, but I sent it to Karen and staff and then. So
I haven't seen it. We don't have a drawing where we're gonna put it. And we haven't even done the engineering where the ground's gonna be solid enough to
to do it,
set
set
it,
it.
so.
There's a nice place to put it, but we can talk about that next time. maybe.
Okay.
I have a drawing.
You can certainly get any suggestion of over in that area where Karen can make it easier for us as a city to plot it and make sure that the ground is stable enough.
There's
underneath.
concrete that it's put on. Two places. I wasn't.
Well, and there's the rails too, right?
Yeah.
To need to be supported. Okay, I want to thank. I think everybody here went to the dedication ceremony over at Memorial Park.
I missed it.
It was so cold and everybody was bundled up, but I think,
That was a good turnout.
did you make it?
If I forgot my coat, yes.
Yes, you made it. See, I can't
wanted to
remember. It
thank
was
you.
so flippin' cold.
I think it
Oh,
was
man,
snowing
it's-
too, wasn't it?
Oh, the wind was blowing and it was.
Steve hands were blue
His
from
thing
holding
was-
it. It was like
But-
this.
Yeah.
I can't move anything around. Somebody help me put my
But
sunglasses on.
you know what? It was amazing, the old timers.
It was incredible.
the gals
See,
that were
that would have
there.
been a good time to get those photographs.
So thank you, Steve, for following through with that and doing that. And do you, Park State Bank was the one that donated all that money for that stone, right? And what are we talking? $6,000, $7,000?
I think it was, 7,300.
7,300. So I know it was coordinated through Cindy and Parks and Recs. Would it be appropriate for this committee to write Tony a thank you note as well for what he did? I don't know how he's been thanked officially, and
I don't even think it was brought up at the ceremony that he donated all that. so-
It was mentioned.
It was?
Yeah.
Couldn't remember.
it was mentioned, but there was nothing written up in the newspaper though, was it?
There was, but
There was a little write-up.
It was.
I can't remember what it said about him though, but
I
it's
don't-
always good to write thank you letters.
Yes. That's good.
Karen, could I impose on you on behalf of our committee to write a thank you note to Park State Bank and specifically Tony Perry, thanking him for their generous donation for,
Have more weight if it came from the president of this committee, the chair,
I don't know, would it?
fiscal law.
I went up to him and thanked him personally, but I can put something together, and if you can put it on city letterhead, I'll put it together.
Mhm.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, you should get it, brother.
Staff will take the additional support. Thank you.
Sally used to write them all for me.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I got spoiled.
That's why you've been here so long. You owe us.
Thank you. I don't think so.
No, I know.
Thank you for doing this. I better make myself a note. Okay, that I believe. I will pass it over here
I
to
have
this young man.
absolutely nothing. I'm
Okay,
just happy to be here. It's a good committee.
you're happy to
We
be
have a
here,
lot
so
of participation in this committee compared to others, I would have to say. I'm privy to those other committees.
Just thought of something I wanted to ask an opinion on.
Yeah.
Title on this, or wondering what's
I
the,
don't like it.
as far as women's contribution, what do you think I'm bringing it up? If I knew it was done, wouldn't have said anything.
Come up with a different word.
did-
That's my
I-
point. Bring it-
It's
so
just
what's
like
the-
saying that women typically don't do anything, but these gals did.
Yeah.
I would-
Sure.
I would hang tight because I think it'll show up as you sort through photos. I know that sounds weird and backwards,
Not
but
necessarily.
but depending upon whether the emphasis leads more towards the clubs or the women's community of Woodland Park, or, I think it'll show up. I think it'll evolve.
You
So,
could just be celebrating its history.
yeah.
And yeah, then that seems a little mundane, but sure. I mean, I don't know.
We don't
The-
even comply.
The ones who really ran.
Like
things, I
Karen
don't-
said, wait till we start figuring it all out.
What
We'll
else?
come up with some
Okay.
special
Wanted to
word.
mention to you, in case somebody has a brainstorm or inspiration, feel free to let me know, because I.
It's good to have that rattle around.
Would not satisfy her. We just wanted to start getting a logo. plus.
And then if anybody's going to the senior expo in 2 weeks, they've asked me to give a presentation out there, so you'll get to see some neat pictures of Woodland Park in days past, and it's there now.
Where's that?
Senior expo, it's gonna be held out at the community church at Paintoni. On the 24th or 27th, whatever day is a Saturday.
That's the big
Around
one on Valley View, the big pitch.
Yeah.
May, June,
This month here, 2 weeks,
April.
April.
what's that date? So is that Saturday?
What's Saturday, the 24th or 27th?
27th,
27th?
I think. April 27th.
Yes, April 27th. What time?
Well, the thing starts at 9, and they want me in there to break up the monotony of Medicare and
There's
insurances and.
our city cemetery cleanup starts at 8 o'clock.
So what time do they want you in there?
I don't know yet. I'll find out in 2 weeks, so they're gonna have a meeting.
Can you send out an email and let us know?
And I need.
And I did have something to say. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm sorry, what, Frank?
We're doing the veterans, the women's auxiliary and the,
That may not be.
That's what.
Keep
he
with
wants
the Park
down there.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
have
That's
a,
what he's always wanted.
city cemetery cleanup on the 27th of this month at 8 o'clock in the
The
morning.
sign, this is what the sign.
So if anybody,
Just from the four corners. of the-
Yeah, so-
anybody who does the cemetery stuff would like to attend,
Okay.
okay,
And that's just.
They didn't hear you at all.
I know. Just talk amongst yourselves.
okay. I got the receipt for the Donna Finical Award. And it's in some pile of paper, but I have a picture of it. Can you use the picture of it?
Probably email it to me.
Okay. Because Pat provided me the, and I'll send you her address. It's Pat Hislop. Picked it up and paid for it.
Oh, okay.
6150.
Okay.
I'm gonna, I will send you that.
Give me an email and in the email say, here's the receipt for blah, blah, blah. And just what you said, Pat Hislop picked this up. We need to provide the check back to Pat to cover the expense.
And I,
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, if you don't mind, because that way then I have it all
there
documented.
was two per page.
yeah, because we voted to pay
Yeah.
for it and all that stuff. It's just, to.
Well, see, my issue is why we'd be paying Pat and not the
Me.
store.
Right,
So-
because she picked it up, paid
Yeah.
for it on behalf of me.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
The last thing on our agenda is a Karen report. If Karen has anything to share with us.
I do have something I would like to share.
Okay,
Some of you guys may or may not know that at the end of my lovely name, I have a AICP, which is American Institute of Certified Planners. So that's my professional credential. And as part of that, I get to do all kinds of ongoing training all the time. And there is a training coming up that I thought you guys might have an interest in. It's called the Relevancy Guidebook, How We Can Transform the Future of Presentation or Preservation. So it's a webinar that Ohio APA does regularly, these webinars that you can register and attend. Oops, I'm sorry, Dave's writing. And I think I'm one short, so maybe two short. But we can. But anyhow, that's coming up on May 3rd. That you guys may or may not have.
Oh, interesting, that, yeah.
Yeah, so you can watch from the comfort of your own home by
Mhm.
going to that link on the Ohio APA website.
so it's like
under
a
the-
podcast or a web.
It's a webinar, so they
Podcast.
actually have like
Okay.
slides and it's
And-
generally about an hour worth of presentation and hour and 10 minutes maybe, and then like 20 minutes or so of Q&A at the end. Cause there's all kinds of other little planners like me out there trying to get credits.
You have to register?
I think so, cause then they send you the link. And there's no charge for it,
Yeah, it does say,
and it will ask you like what chapter you're affiliated with. And I don't know if none is an option or not, otherwise pick Colorado.
With the Park HBC.
Yeah.
That's the chat.
Uh,
Nobody-
Well, as opposed to the Colorado APA. Yeah, cause I didn't pay that much attention, so I'm always focused on. Yeah, just making sure they have what I need for my credits, but I know there's people from, private industry, private planners and such that. Do these kind of things, so yeah, state, local government, electeds, yeah, free.
Good. Thank you. And that reminds me, this Saturday at 6 p.m. in Victor, they're having a program. How to research your house or your building. Frankie's putting it on.
Really?
Yeah. And it's, if you're ever wondered how you do any research at the clerk's office or wherever on the history of your property and your home and all that. It's gonna be excellent.
Where? On at 6.
I
whereabouts?
forget.
She's a council.
It's the place I
Yeah,
can just look for a bunch of
What's
park cars.
this picture?
Look for a
Yeah,
bunch
look
of
for
park
the-
cars in Victor.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
where all
where
the
it's
cars
at.
are.
But if Frankie's doing, it, no, it's gonna be
It's
excellent.
gonna be great. Yeah, I would like to go to that.
I'm going, yeah.
Saturday at 6.
Saturday, it's,
cool. Did we talk about, you guys will have to remind me, possibly. Down the road, I think we asked Karen about the possibility of adding to our. Part of the city website under historical preservation, those landmarks that we have.
They're already up.
they're up, they're on there. And I think anytime we think of something to share or put on there to keep it a little more fresh, we should just think about that. Because I know you guys put on our posters too, I believe. Those are on the website as well. But just something, how we can make it a little bit more active perhaps. Anything else, guys? Karen, was there anything else that you had?
I was gonna ask you because, you know.
There used to be a link, it's not obvious.
Keep the county attorney, and I'm just sad,
Me too.
but that's why.
You had a broken link.
Not ever, didn't ask Jessica.
We'll dive into it.
I asked Jessica and asked us, what were the
Okay.
circumstances? I said, it was an amicable fault. She says, I can't say. I said, you just answered my question.
That's what I got.
Okay. Next meeting, first Tuesday of May, whatever that date is.
Yeah, Lori, for what it was, at the very end of our webpage, there was this link at the bottom under resources, a few reports, workshops. We probably need to revise that so it's a little more clear, but when you go there, there's then a couple different subfolders. Local landmark historic designations. And there's the map. Oops. And then there's one on each of those.
Versus the yellow, Karen.
And the yellows are just the numbers and the red are the actual buildings.
Correct. And this is an old map since it doesn't have the Roberts House on it. But we did update the map. It just didn't make it to the website.
So have you heard anything from Drew with his move going to the old, what we call Brazen Head?
Now that all the artists are upset because their deposits back.
What's upset?
All the artists that it's, they all paid a deposit to be at the Brazen Head, and now that that's sold, they're all complaining that they're not getting their deposits back.
That's a private matter.
Yes,
There's the
but it
list.
still doesn't make anybody happy.
So I'm just wondering if Drew has said anything more. I think he's planning a remodel. You met with him.
You know, he invited me up there and he's more interested right now in this exterior. There's some rotten logs and stuff. And the inside, he's not really gonna do anything. It's gonna be office space in the inside and stuff, so. As far as I know, or from what I understood, it's gonna be the exterior.
Okay,
And that's maintenance you're talking about?
Maintenance and log replacement, so kind of beyond maintenance, I guess, in some cases.
We've only, to my knowledge, we've only talked to him about a fence.
well, from the historical preservation, he came, not he. One or two previous owners came before us about the metal roof. And we had a public hearing in council chambers on that. So I wonder, since we've got a little bit of involvement with it, if it would be worth it to remind him that if he's planning to do anything, it'd be nice if he would let us know so that we can, I mean, if he's gonna blow up one side of it and blow it out or something, there is a kind of a, it's written in there that he would come to us. I mean, even with a roof. So if he was planning to do anything, just because of the historical nature of the building, not that we have
Roofs
teeth,
are-
but
Roofs are pretty easy to deal with as far as cost, because
yeah,
corrugated galvanized roofing is about the cheapest. And it's period, and it's very acceptable to the state, for designation and stuff.
well, whoever it was put a metal roof on. In fact, we kicked that around quite a bit. And we approved them putting a metal roof on. We had a suggestion of possibly a color. for a variety of reasons, which I believe, if I remember correctly, didn't come to fruition, what we suggested, but it was required that they came to, because the building had been designated, it was required to come through this channel to this committee to do anything to it. So just like the old Maytag house, if they were gonna put a roof on it or windows or even paint it. So the same thing's gonna apply to Drew and the old Brazen Head.
I just can't remember if other metal roofs. Up to, I'm talking about your basic.
I know you're
galvanized-
talking about the old corrugated, yeah,
galvanized
yeah, yeah.
corrugated.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if other galvanized corrugated would be acceptable, but I don't know.
Well, and from our perspective, we just wanted, I think Sally wanted this committee to be plugged into what was going on in general. Down there to get. It's getting people used to, if you're going to have a designation. Then let's at least advise what we're doing with the building. I mean, we can't tell people they can't do something, to tell you the truth. We really can't. But as far as then why have a process if you aren't at least going to go through it so that if the owner can understand the impact of doing X, Y, or Z to the building, it sort of kind of changes that.
What the incentive is to the owner, you can't dictate to them,
Correct.
but you can tell them. Like the Brazen Heads, for example, if you put such and such a roof on or something, you'll lose your local designation, which would disqualify you from all grants that you're eligible for with the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
And then tax credits too.
And that's part of the educational process, that if we're active to try to get across to people that there are opportunities. If they want to go down those paths. I mean, it's fairly complex. And there's a lot of pieces to this, and we're just volunteers. So we're just trying to get the right word out there. And having people that are in the building business and industry does help to help people who come to them to plug them in too. Not just Karen. Stuff that
just
comes,
Karen.
not just Karen, they have all the crap that comes across her desk, so. Okay, I think we're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. There always seems to be more.
Breakfast, first Saturday.
It's next Saturday at 8 o'clock.